All right. Where we are now was where the women were kept. 400 women all over here. 150 of the women slept on the floor as hard as it is. And also there were no means of convenience in here. Empty containers were being placed at the various corners for them to ease themselves. But they were not coming from Ghana alone. So they said Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Cameroon, and the rest. They were all brought in here. And it took them 1 to 2 months before they arrived. Because in the olden days, there were no means of transportation. So they walked barefooted from their various countries to this place. And some were even left at the expense of wild animals in the forest. And when they got here, they were very, very weak. And as women do have the administration, practically, they did everything on the floor. So this floor, as it is dry today, in the past had mixture blood, vomit, feces, urine. That is why you cannot underestimate the stench and the heat over here. And as a result, most of them died. And when they died, they were not buried. They were removed and thrown into the ocean for the fish to feed them. They were being given something small to eat just to keep them alive. Some ate, some refused to eat, they preferred to die. And they never had a chance of cleaning their teeth nor bathing. And all these openings you see today before had doors on them. So the only source of ventilation came from that door. And this same hole is connected to another room called the magazine, where they kept their ammunition. So when there's a leakage, the chemicals came straight to this room and worsened a already bad situation. If they were actually in for profit, why let them die? To me, it doesn't make sense. And they will give you two answers. They said, one, Africans were very strong people. Giving them the normal conditions here will make them fight back. And those who could survive through these brutalities were the strong Africans who could work when they get to the new world. So in a way, they were trying to eliminate the weaker ones from the stronger ones. But if we all could be sincere for an answer, in the olden days, it was very cheap to come by them. And it was very, very expensive to get one person into the dungeon. Then they will make sure that the fellow lives under the normal condition. They get a profit, the actual investment, but they never cared. That is why, to me, the intention of their coming wasn't to trade, but to loot or steal. Not peace, but war. Not partnership, but enslavement. I'll give you a minute. You take pictures.
Question, that trap door right there, what was that for?
That's a reservoir. A reservoir.
Reservoir.
The trap door is up. I was making. Take pictures of it.
You know, they took the process by which he's talking about with only the strongest of them surviving. It's the same philosophy that they used when they created the American Pit Bull Terriers. They used the same breeding process. They were straining the bloodlines. That's what they call game breeding. Only the strongest ones survived. The ones that didn't, they killed them. If they was weak, they killed them anyway. Even if they survived the fight, they still killed them.
Question, the bars on the window, original? The bars.
What you see there are woods, but the one crossing is the original bar.
Okay.
A reservoir built by the Portuguese. There are pipes connected to the roof, though the pipes over there are not the original. So when it rains, you get in there, and when it is full, it contains 20,000 gallons of water. But in 1637, when the Dutch captured the castle from them, the Dutch were not interested in using theirs. So they went to the Mill slave yard and built their reservoir over there, thinking the Portuguese could poison this. But it's been proven that water in there was never, ever poisoned. When they came here initially to trade, they never brought their women. Why? Because the rate at which they were dying of malaria and yellow fever, the coastal line was even termed as the white man's grave. And as they stayed longer, they couldn't stay without them. Soldiers, pastors, merchants, governors sexually abused the women here in the dungeons. But the governor, due to his position, anytime he wanted to satisfy his sexual curiosity, up on the balcony there he stood, ordered, and the doors were opened for the 400 women to assemble here. He looked through and made his choice. The chosen one might have been the dungeons for 1 to 2 months without cleaning her teeth nor bathing. It had been menstruated, yet the governor had paid. So it became the responsibilities of the soldiers to fetch water for her to bath. And after the bathing, she was given something small to eat, and she was dressed and sent to the governor's quarters through the private access door. Let's have a look.
Question, these windows up here, is that just a second high window or is that a second floor?
Yeah.
Another floor?
No, the first floor. The first floor, the second.
Okay, different level from this.
Yes.
This is also female here.
Yeah.
And it's the door that take them up to try to be raised up.
Well, this happens to be the ladder the woman selected by the governor was made to climb up. After the humiliation, the woman was not made to stay there because that wasn't a permanent place. She was then sent back to the dungeons, and in instances, some became mistresses and stayed longer up there. When the ships came, those found pregnant were subsequently freed or liberated. But due to the longer from the hinterland, some couldn't trace their way back. And this partly explains why along the coast we have mulattoes, the light colored skin. And also the Europeans did not want their children to go wayward or astray. So they built houses in town, kept those pregnant women over there. 3 years later, they went for their children, brought them back to this very castle, and gave them formal education. So formal education started from this very castle, and those children of the Europeans became the first elite in the society and they felt superior over the indigenous people. Because they were being given good food, good clothes. That was when the divide, conquer, and rule started coming in. Some went to the village, got married to the local women over there, built individual houses known as stone houses, stayed with them, have children, and gave their names to their children. And before and today in Ghana, we have people bearing European names. De Heer, De Souza, Viala, Vroom, Van Dyke, Van der Boy, Smith, Ferguson, Jackson, Youngson, Blankson, and all the Simpsons.
They said it.
You said Mark Simpson?
All the Simpsons memes. Oh, I like this in culture.
A cannonball, 8 of such were here. They used to punish the women who refused or resisted rape. They were brought from the dungeons, chained to the ankle. Were made to stand, bathe, rain or shine, from morning till evening, no food, no water. They did that to break the spirit or to serve as a deterrent to others in the dungeons, so that any time the children get in there, they could easily get one to rape. So it was meant for punishment. Let's go.
So you want to sleep with enough, it's probably get to come in. Put in something, you got horses.